Jonathan Schofield, it was a trip over to Salford on Saturday with the reserves that ultimately ended in defeat. What's your assessment of that performance?
Poor, to be honest. I expected as a team to obviously offer a bit more than what we did. We went down early in the game, 10 points, and after about 10 minutes then we brought it back to 12-10 after 15 minutes, or 15-20 minutes. Then went into half time 28-12, which were disappointing to concede that many points in the first half. Then we scored first in the second half. Then obviously just had a bit of a lapse in defence in the second half. Conceded eight tries. Obviously, we need to be better than that.
After that slow start, obviously to come back into the game with those quick fire tries, that must be a positive you can take from the afternoon. The resilience, the character, to drag themselves back up off the canvas, if you like.
Yeah, it was definitely. We had some obviously new faces in there. Like I said in last week, it were in the reserve. It's always a different team. What we put out each week and gives opportunities to different players in different positions. But no, good to show a bit of character to bring the score back. But obviously, we want to be a bit better in defensive areas, which, like I say, we'll have a look at those this week, and the next reserve game is Warrington next Friday.
Ultimately, after the highs of Hull, came the lows of Salford the week after. Is that a good lesson in itself to prepare the players for the pitfalls of sport? Next week could be a completely different result, and you're never sure of anything. So that learning curve is there for all to see for those young players.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll learn from it. That's what I said to the players after the game. I always feel that the side we put out is good enough to go out and get the win. Obviously, that's what the boys want to do. They always want to come away with a win, but these areas we need to fix up. Like I say, we've got probably 4 or 5 sessions before Warrington, and we want to work on the areas we need to fix up, and hopefully we'll see an improved performance from the Salford game going to Warrington next Friday.
So it's the first academy outing this Friday night away at Castleford. How's preparation gone for that? The first official sort of competitive outing for the lads?
Yeah, it's gone really well. Pre-season for the academy players, but obviously we had probably 7 or 8 academy players in the reserves, so they played 2 games. So they're ready to drop back in, and the players you can Bates, Sam Leeson, Lewis Owens, will be playing consistent with reserves and academy, so they'll drop into the academy side this week. But also a good opportunity to see the first year academy players who were stepping up from the scholarship. Will Air, he's one. Obviously there's Freddie Unkin in there, to just to name a few. But no, looking forward to working on what worked in pre-season, which is a real togetherness, and obviously, like I say, looking forward to seeing them play on Friday.
With it being the first outing, bear in mind the pre-season game against St Helens, and obviously the training camps you've been doing, what are your expectations, going into Friday night?
To be competitive. That's what we want to do. Definitely, if we're competitive and we stick together. Obviously, we'll see what the result is after 80 minutes, but I believe we've picked a good 19-man squad who are all together, and hopefully we'll obviously put on a performance on Friday night.
And then just finally, you're obviously a few months into the job now as Elite Pathways head coach. The games are coming thick and fast now as the season starts. How are you finding this period? You've had your pre-season, you're now into the real nitty-gritty of matches. How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's really good, but obviously with the pathway that we're in, obviously the development, it's just obviously want to try and create that competitiveness. Now the games have started, but we've had that since day one. You're right, stepping up from assistant coach to head coach from last year to this year. The games are coming thick and fast, so it's I'm not saying things change, but obviously you have to speak to players when they're not playing, and obviously communicate and make sure everyone's on board, and everyone's still part of it. So when the reserves that don't have a game, obviously they'll complement the academy players in preparation for the game on Friday night, and we've made that clear from the off. But No, but I've just got to give credit to obviously the coaching staff. Like I say, I'm not doing it on my own. There's Brendan Sheridan and Nathan Graham who've both been outstanding. Their experience has really shone in the coaching department in pre-season, and also the Jake Duxbury as well, who helps out, and Chris Stevens and George and Macaulay who looks after the nutrition. I think we've got a real good team off the field, but like I say, that stood himself in good stead for obviously for the role that I'm playing.